Hey guys, this is Jason. I'm reviewing The Wild Robot, directed by Chris Saunders, and is a new DreamWorks movie. It is about a robot who later names herself Roz, voiced by Lupita Nyong'o, who crash lands on an island where she programs herself to talk to animals. And after she learns to adapt to her surroundings and tries to make relationships with other animals, she finds a baby gosling duck and raises him as her own. DreamWorks has been a hit and miss for me. They would at times make some animated films that are very mature that are made for both kids and adults, like How to Train Your Dragon and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. But unfortunately, in recent years, they've made a lot of mediocre animated films that really don't live up to some of their older films from the late 90s to the 2000s or to the 2010s, where they've made some animated films like The Boss Baby and Trolls, which I am not a fan of. Back when I was a kid, I loved a lot of DreamWorks films when they were coming out. I, of course, loved the Shrek films, Kung Fu Panda, Madagascar, and then later How to Train Your Dragon. And, of course, loved some of their older films like The Prince of Egypt and The Road to El Dorado. And as for their newer films, there are only like a handful of their newer films I do enjoy, like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which ended up being a surprisingly awesome animated film. Like, I'm not exaggerating, when I watched that film for the first time, I was surprised by how great it was. It had great animation, great characters, and awesome villains as well. And now that I've seen this film, I am happy to say that this is one of DreamWorks' best films. I love this movie. This is an incredible animated film with beautiful animation that looks top notch. Everything in this film looks incredible, like the backgrounds, the way Roz moves when she's trying to be like other animals, the trees, the grass, everything in this film looks unbelievable. Even when it comes to DreamWorks, most of their animated films have incredible animation. Even some of their weaker films have great animation, and this film is no exception. Like, what makes the animation great in this film is that they would make smaller details look realistic. Like, there'll be times when it would show the grass and the trees and they look very realistic. They are that crazy, showing you that the animators did a lot of hard work doing the animation. This is also a very funny movie, and most of the humor is actually some dark humor, and there's a lot more dark humor than I thought. Like one scene involving a crab, like when that happened I was like, whoa, jeez. And this movie is filled with stuff that's very shocking. Like, there'll be times where you would see bugs get eaten by birds, but then there'll be times where you would see birds get eaten by other animals. Like, it's that shocking, and a lot of that really caught me off guard. And it's the kind of dark humor where, I'm not gonna lie, there were some moments that did make me chuckle a bit. Like, if you've been watching my channel for a while, then you know that I can't help myself when dark humor gets to me. Like this year with movies like Deadpool and Wolverine and Beetlejuice, both of these films have dark humor and they still made me laugh. And that's what DreamWorks does best with some of their animated films, have some dark humor and still make it funny. And the voice acting is very genuine. Everyone in this film does a great job, like Lupita Nyong'o is great as Roz, and others like Pedro Pascal, Catherine O'Hara, Mark Hamill, and Kit Connor all gave very genuine performances. But what I really loved about the film is the story, when we see Roz learn more about Light Bill, voiced by Connor, and how she learns to take care of him and tries to teach him how to eat, swim, and fly before winter happens. Where when she teaches him how to do more of this stuff, she starts to feel like a mother figure to him, which makes her more than just a robot trying to help. She starts to feel more like a mom, which leads to some moments that can be very emotional and teary-eyed. Like, there'll be one scene that happens halfway into the film and in the very end that honestly almost made me tear up. And that is a good feeling that I got with an animated film, and that's something I haven't had with an animated film in a long time. And that's definitely what makes some of these animated films like this and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish great. Not only be fun for kids to enjoy, but have them be great for adults to watch as well. Because people would often look at animated films and say, oh, it's just made for kids, it's not really for adults, when that's not really true. Sure, a lot of kids enjoy those films, but they're made for adults too. Because when you look at some of DreamWorks' earlier films or some of Pixar's earlier films, they have very mature moments that adults can really enjoy, with deeper meanings and emotional moments and deep messages that adults can feel teary-eyed from. Like, do you remember how the movie Up starts? Yeah, that opening was very emotional. And this film also has a really good message for adults to understand, like learning how to be a parent and learning when it's time for their kids to lead their own lives. And surprisingly, a lot of animated films with robots do tug in the heartstrings. Movies like The Iron Giant, WALL-E, Big Hero 6, and now this film. I just find it funny that we have great animated films that have a robot that can give emotional moments for those films. Now, I do have one issue with the film, and my only issue is that they introduce a villain in the third act, not in the beginning of the film. And this villain character honestly felt like this character got shoehorned into the film in the last minute, and I get they needed a threat for the third act, but if they wanted to add a villain character, I think they should have just set that up in the beginning of the film and make this character feel more present throughout the film. The Wild Robot is an amazing film with incredible animation, really good voice acting, dark humor that's very funny, and a message that adults and parents can get behind. If you're a parent that have kids that are growing up or already grown up, you will really love this film, and it will have some moments that will make you teary-eyed. And for me, this is easily one of DreamWorks' best animated films of all time, and it's one of the best animated films of 2024. Now, I loved Inside Out 2. I still think that is a great movie, but this film I actually loved a little bit more. I'm gonna give The Wild Robot an A. So guys, if you have seen The Wild Robot, what did you think about it? Do you think it's one of DreamWorks' best animated films, or do you think this is one of their weaker animated films? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, because it helps my channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you know what other videos I'm posting. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Say hi to the camera, Lola. Say hi.